Hi friends, hope you're doing great today. So I am back with my another session on Sales Insight in Dynamics CRM. And in this session, I would be covering what, when, and how to use Sales Insight in Dynamics CRM. We would be covering various aspects of Sales Insight and various features of it, both from the perspective of an admin as well as an end user, a sales executive who would be using the application in your environment. So first of all, I would like to explain you what exactly is a Sales Insight. So Sales Insight is not a separate app. It's not a separate functionality. It's a feature in Microsoft Dynamics that uses the power of AI powered insights. It uses machine learning algorithms and predictive analysis to help sales professionals to better understand the business, the customer, the identify opportunities, and for sure close the deals efficiently. Sales Insight has a lot number of features, and few of the features includes relationship analytics, which helps in so as to provide a visual representation of customer engagement, like what exactly is the history, how the discussion is going with the customer, what are the relationship factors, etc. in there. Along with it is having a sales accelerator, which is being highlighted on my screen at this moment of time, which uses AI powered insights to prioritize your sales leads, like based upon which sales lead has to be worked upon when. It helps us so as to suggest, or the executive suggest, the best time and channel to reach out the customers, and most important is getting or providing the more insight or relevant details or informations about the sales pitch. Third and the most important part of Sales Insight is your conversation in intelligence. Exactly, it analyzes the quality of the sales calls, meetings which are happening in your organization, and based upon all those discussions, it helps in calculating the customer insights and then define or identify the potential of getting that business to the organization. As well as based upon your interactions or calls with the customer, it is able to suggest the next suitable action out in there. Let's say what should be the follow-up action. The fourth and the most important in this is sales forecasting, which is more of a way of predictive model analytics, which helps in forecasting upcoming sales performance, identify potential risks, along with it suggest mitigation strategies, like how you can avoid all those situations in there. So while you want so when you would log into your Sales Hub app of Dynamics CRM, if Sales Insight feature has been enabled for your organization, then this particular tile, Sales Accelerator, would be visible to you. Now you have to, as an admin, you would be having this particular thing, that is Sales Insight settings, and the one moment you would log into the Sales Insight setting, you would be able to see a specific window for your Sales Insight application or a feature in Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Sales Insight is available in two ways, like the basic model as well as we can say a premium feature. So usually what happens is in organizations, it usually starts with a implementation on a basic model, but based upon its feature, based upon the organization requirement, we usually opt for a premium feature out in there. Now the premium feature includes a lot of capabilities which I have already enabled in my organization, which includes your auto capture, email engagements, note analysis, relationship analytics, the most important, who knows whom out in there. But at the same time, it depends upon your organization which features are very much important to them, which features are not important to them, and based upon that, organizations usually decide which functionalities or which license they want to go for. Now before starting with implementation of Sales Insight in your organization, there are few things which we all need to take care of. That is, we should ensure that email exchange server has been configured and the mailbox records have been enabled for each user. Then only few of the functionalities like auto capture, email engagements, and relationship analytics would be applicable, or you would be able to configure the same in your organization. Now, if you want to use few of the functionalities like relationship analytics, then it is suggested so as to enable your LinkedIn connection with Dynamics CRM, or the LinkedIn solution has to be installed. Then only you would be able to use the capabilities of relationship analytics. And third, and the most important aspect, that because the premium license also undertakes like your attachment analysis, notes analysis, so it is recommended that you should enable the integration with your SharePoint and OneDrive with Dynamics CRM, and that will help you so as to undertake the analysis and end-to-end analysis of a lead record in an organization out in there. Now let's discuss it from an end user perspective, like how it is important for an organization to have a sales insight enabled for them. So let's say you as a sales executive is working for an organization. Let's say the organization in which you are working as a sales representative, wherein you would be responsible for selling cards to your prospected customer, and see a long list of open leads out in there. You are not able to figure out what to do, where to do, and when to start in there, and you are pretty confused wherein I was working, what was the status, and how this lead is going to be turning into a business, whether it's a prospected lead, how or whom should I contact. And to help you with all these functionalities, Dynamics came with this sales hub in there, sales insight in there, wherein all of these your questions or confusions as a sales executive would be assisted by using the power of artificial intelligence. Now in this module, what exactly happens is, in the sales accelerator, you would be able to see a long list of things in there, and which has been prioritized based upon their priorities or the configurations in your organization. You would be able to see, like, for today, the work items I need to work upon is like I need to reach on Gabriela, and Gabriela would be having a list of scores out in there, like what is the expectation that this lead would be closed on a positive note, with this relationship health out in there, what was the last interaction in there, and how Gabriela lead, this particular lead, is associated to anyone in your organization based upon your data in Microsoft Exchange. And all this information is calculated, is served to you as a sales executive, so that you can take up an action directly on it. You at the same time, the Dynamics CRM itself suggests you what would be the next upcoming task or event which you should perform on this. Let's say what should you do next, like let's say you should give it a call, send an email, set an appointment, and what are the decision making factor, what is the score of this lead, so how much work and effort you should invest on this lead so as to meet up the expectations of your business. And that's all about your sales insight app out in there, or this feature out in there. So in core, what exactly happens is, Sales Insight is again a feature in Dynamics CRM which is AI driven, which helps us so as to calculate everything in there in the business based upon the configurations, and pulls out the most relevant information to you, and it presents you the information along with the steps you should do as an executive so as to meet up the business requirements. On the top, if you see in here, you would be able to see this. These are known as sales assistant or insight cards, or the notifications which gets pre-populated in here based upon your configurations in the business application. Now based upon these cards, what happens is, you would be able to define, you would be able to see what exactly I need to do, and these are all cards are configurable, and even you can create your own custom cards based upon the configurations in Dynamics CRM. If you need anything very much specific to your requirement, yes, these sales insight cards can be created using the capabilities of Power Platform out in there. Now, since we have been discussing from the perspective of you as a sales executive, so I am pulling out my next screen, a different instance of Dynamics CRM, wherein I am logged in as a sales user rather than an admin. Now in the sales user, what exactly happens is, you would be having a sales area wherein you would be using the capabilities of Sales Insight. But at the same time, let's say me as an admin has configured 100 of things in the Sales Insight. But for you being the user, you want to configure the things for yourself based upon your own specific requirement. Let's say me as a sales executive, I'm not interested in seeing all the opportunities, but I am more confirmed or more concerned about the leads I am working upon it. And for that, Microsoft does give you an area, specific area as personal settings, wherein you can configure the things exactly as per your requirement on top of what your business has done for you. So it does have a feature like, let's say these are all the insight cards which your organization has configured for you, but you are not concerned about the missed letter due dates or task due date. Definitely you can close it off or turn it off so that these cards will not be bothering you anymore. On the same lines, if you want to configure some specific email templates for email conversations you would be creating or having in discussion with your prospected leads or accounts or contacts, you are more than welcome so as to create your own email templates to help you out in there. At the same time, you are more than welcome so as to create your email signatures which would be used in various communications whenever you would be sending out communications to your executive, to your people out in there. So there are multiple things which are possible out in there using Sales Insight. And at the same time, even though your system admin has configured certain features to be used by entire organization, at the same time as an executive you would be able to take up multiple actions out in there. That is configuring your priorities for insights cards, email templates, email signatures, calendars, and even text message templates, though I have not enabled this feature out in there. But for you as an end user, Sales Insight would be something like this, a window wherein I would be now explaining you how to configure the same using the capabilities of a system administrator out in there. So now let's switch back to the screen wherein I am logged in as Sumit Gupta, who is a system admin in here, and he would be performing multiple tasks so as to meet up your business expectations. Now in here, we have to click in here so as to click Sales Insight settings, and based upon this particular window would be opening in here. Now what exactly happens is this, after this window has been opened, I have already enabled the premium feature, else you would be getting a pop-up in here so as to configure the premium or enable the premium feature, and when you would enable the same, all this configuration would keep on popping up on your screen. The first and the most important aspect of this Sales Insight is, first, what type of records on which you want to enable the same. Let's say I want to enable it on leads, contacts, accounts, opportunity, case record. What are all the features on which, or the entities on which I want to enable it? Along with it, what are the specific security roles for which you want this tile to be enabled? That is your Sales Insight tile to be enabled. Reason for the same is Sales Insight is a paid premium feature out in there. You cannot enable it for, let's say in your organization, let's say you are having 2,000 sales executives out in there. Definitely each and every sales executive will not be needing it, or you will not be willing to activate it for everyone. So what we do is we create a specific role, Sales Insight. We need to enable or add that role in here so that we can have a control over the licensing cost of the same. Now once the sales executive has been given the license, then we have to, as an admin, we have to configure on which all the records we want, or on which all the entities we want this feature to be enabled in there. Now comes the sequences in the Sales Insight. What exactly is a sequence? On my window, if you can see this area, this particular area wherein up next is coming, is the sequence in here. What exactly is a sequence? Sequence is a suggestive steps of action a sales executive has to perform based upon the lead. Let's say as a sales executive, you have entered my details in your application. the application will itself suggest you, hey Mr. X, you have to give a call to Mr. Sumit. The moment you will give a call, the tile will not track whether you have given the call or not. You have to manually mark it as mark complete. But the moment you will mark it as complete, the lead scoring system in the background will work, will do every analysis, and this lead score would be calculated. Now, as per the configuration in the application, what will happen is the next step, next sequence which you have to perform would be auto generated in here. And again, that is configurable in the application. You simply need to click as a business administrator on the sequences, and you would see a couple of sequences in here, like what are the steps I need to perform while nurturing a lead. And these are all the steps out in there, wherein you have to give a call, you have to send an email, you have to set up a follow-up meeting, you have to set up a follow-up appointment, and everything in there. See, from the day one sequence starts, you have to send an introduction mail as a sales executive. Once the email has been sent over, after 5 days a reminder email has to be given. After 5 days a call to a customer. After 5 days a thank you email. After 5 days schedule a meeting. And all this action has to be performed it manually, but application will auto suggest you here what needs to be done and when it has to be done. Now if you want to see as an admin wherein all these leads are connected, wherein all the leads to which the sequence is being connected and what's its status, you can definitely track it on by clicking in here, that is connected leads. If you want to deactivate the same, if you want to create a new sequence, you are more than welcome so as to create a new sequence, connect a sequence, edit an existing sequence, and everything out in there. Second most important thing comes is segments. And what exactly is segments out in there? Segments is way of grouping the records on some specific basis so that a specific set or particular set of people can work upon these. So let's say I want to segment all the records, all the incoming opportunity records as a one segment, all incoming leads as the another segment, and based upon this segment which I have identified, I can set up an assignment rule so that a specific group in my organization would be responsible for this particular segment of the records. Let's say we set up a segment based upon an attribute source of lead. So what exactly happens is, let's say whenever the leads are being generated through the website, we want those leads to be segmented and to be allocated or associated to a specific set of team members who are very much expert in doing all those type of or in closing all those types of leads. Earlier for this we used to do other ways out in there. We used to use Power Automate flows, we used to use other functionalities, assignment rules, and other stuff in Dynamics CRM. At times I have seen organizations performing the same using custom code or even the workflow activities out in there. To overcome the same challenge, Microsoft decided so as to give you a flexibility. Again, it as a feature which can be configured by you based upon your requirement. That is, you would be creating segments, and segments can be used so as to assign it or undertake the assignments rules out in there. So now that was all about Sales Accelerator of Sales Insights. Now we would be moving ahead towards the Assistant Studio out in there. Now let's step towards the Assistant Studio. Assistant Studio is a simple way so as to create insight cards out in there. What exactly is an insight card? Insight card appears on the top on this click of this lightning button, and once you see, all these things are your insight cards. These are small notifications based upon your configurations which would be visible to you. So again, this would be an helping hand to your sales team or to your team that on which opportunity they have to work upon, on which opportunity they should target, which opportunity is going good, which is going bad. All those things can be configured, and again this is all configurable in here. Based upon your priorities, you can define it. You can design your insight cards in your organization out in there. Now again, this insight card can be enabled based upon the people or based upon the security rules. Let's say opportunities more than 1 billion should be only visible to the people with the role of senior manager, whereas opportunities around 1 million should be visible to everyone, like as a sales manager role, not the opportunity itself. It means the insight cards associated based upon those rules. Now in your organization, let's say you have configured a lot of insight cards, and but now the sales users are getting confused. What should we do? What should be the rank? What should be the priority of a sales card which should be visible to an executive, or sales insight card in there? And this is the way so as to plan, or so as to arrange or prioritize your insight card, which should be visible to the executives on there. And it's in there again, based upon your ranking preferences, the insight notifications would be configured and would be visible to your users out in there. Then the third and the most important area comes your productivity. That is, again, this is more of a conversation like intelligence. So what exactly happens is, in your organization there would be a lot number of Microsoft Teams meeting which would be happening, a Teams calls would be happening, interactions with your customers would be happening, and all those stuff would be happening. Now all those application recordings are being stored internally in Microsoft Exchange at times, or any of the repository which you enable in there, like Microsoft Storage or anything in there. Now based upon these recordings, based upon the analytics which would be undertaken by Microsoft AI bot on these conversations, it would be helping you so as to calculate the scores. It would be helping you to calculate and decide how this lead or this particular interaction with the customer is going on, whether it's going towards a positive or whether it's moving towards a negative, and you need to step in so as to make it more so as to achieve your goals in the organization. Now comes an auto capture. This is one of the one of the very much good feature which I have been using a lot of time. That is, it helps in capturing the emails. Let's say your Outlook Office 365 is well integrated with your Dynamics in here. One of your existing customers sends you an email, hey Sumit, let's set up a meeting in the upcoming month of April in there. So what exactly this insight will do is, it will auto capture the information from there, and it will give you a suggestion based upon that interaction. Hey Sumit, set up a meeting with Mr. X on this and this date. And whenever the time will come in here, when I would log in and will see in my insights, for sure it would be giving me an option, or it would be reminding me, hey Sumit, you need to set up a meeting with Mr. X because he has requested to you on your Outlook in there. Something similar for note analysis. Again, this note analysis, what happens is, let's say me and you are in a long meeting call, and you simply ask me one in a while that, hey Sumit, set up an appointment with me for the next month of December or next month of April in there. And what I would do is, I will simply go in there because it was a quick meeting. So I will simply create a note out in there. Microsoft AI bot will itself perform everything in there. The analytics, the AI engine will run and will create a meeting invitation for you along with me, involving me, and would send a reminder that, hey, a meeting has been asked to be set up and I need to set up or take up that meeting out in there. These were the two major areas. Then let's target the third, the smallest area out in there, that is relationship insights out in there. Now the relationship insights has few of the features, like let's say first, who knows whom is one of the most, and I really love it personally in there. So let's say again, it would be pulling the data from your Microsoft Exchange. Let's say you set up a call, or I set up a call with a third party executive, let's say Mr. Aman working at Adobe. So he would be having some email address and everything out in there, and we will fill all those details in the request on our lead record. Now what in the background Microsoft would do is, it will perform analytics. It will pull out all your data of all the people in your organization, and will try to populate the email IDs of the people in your organization who might be connected with the people around Mr. Aman in there. And based upon this email, based upon this interaction, like in this particular lead, we come to know that Mr. Allen is very much close to Gabriela, or Ellie is a little close, or the connection status is very weak for Dinah. So on these all these situations, we would be able so as to identify like who is the best person to be reached so as to get introduced to this particular lead user, and we can meet up our business target on a immediate manner, rather than I am searching around in my organization and asking anyone is associated, any executive in our organization is associated to that company or they are dealing with it. Microsoft Insight itself pulls it all this information and presents you with this information so that we can know like he is the right person so as to reach out in there. Now fourth and the most important in there is the predictive models. That predictive model is again using your prediction models in Dynamics CRM based upon certain configurations out in there. It would be creating or calculating the scores which are visible to you on the top in here, like this is the lead score. And now based upon this lead score, you are able to identify like how the performance with lead is going on, whether the score is 84, it's in grade A, and the lead score over the time is this, and all this again is configurable based upon your requirement. Like let's say how I want to perform this. The model name I have identified as lead scoring. What with the business process flow which would be used would be lead to opportunity flow, and which would be my attribute on which the scoring has to be performed. Again, all this data, this is whatever we are seeing in here is based upon the data. The data your organization hold for your leads, for your opportunities, for your contacts, etc., the more powerful presentation would be happening in there. Now based upon this sales, if you enable this sales module or sales insight configurations in there, what exactly happens is Microsoft also do enable few of the dashboards which are very much specific to the insight, and it will be helping you so as to get all those information which would be very much helpful for your organization. Probably in my application, yeah, these are the dashboards. Usually what happens is this takes a little longer so as to populate the information in these dashboards. Reason stated, it AI bot keeps a lot of time, takes a lot of time to get all this information procured from your database, but it keeps on getting updated, and that's all about your sales insight module out in there. It's nothing, it's a feature of Dynamics CRM. It's not a separate module which has to be enabled. If you want to use the premium features of it, you have to buy a premium license, and it would be playing along, working on all your data so as to perform all these things like lead scoring, connections, who knows whom in there. It would be helping in generating sequences out in there and everything out in there. And thanks again for all your appreciations. Thanks for all your comments. It really motivates me. And for sure, please ensure so as to comment in my videos with your information about what next you would like to watch in there. Thank you and have a great day ahead.